there's something that deeply unsettles people, and often they don't even realize it. A single man who is at peace with himself, a man who isn't frustrated by being alone, who doesn't beg for love, who doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. He challenges a silent societal expectation that a man is only complete when he starts a family. And when he refuses to follow that script, the way others look at him changes. Judgments arise, criticisms disguised as concern, unsolicited advice pours in. But behind all of this lies a truth that no one likes to admit. He is free, and this freedom exposes how many live in captivity. Today, you will understand why a man who consciously chooses to remain single and possesses self-esteem becomes an invisible target of others' indignation. Because deep down, he is not the problem, he is the mirror, and not everyone can bear to look at the reflection. Before we continue, I need to tell you something. This video only reached you because someone liked it and subscribed to our channel. Now it's your turn to do the same. Leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell, so this chain of knowledge keeps growing and reaching more people. Also, comment down below which city you're watching from, because I want to know how far this video is traveling. Now, no more delays, let's get to the good stuff. First reason, society still associates success with marital life. From a young age, we are bombarded with stories where the pinnacle of happiness is finding someone, getting married, and living the famous happily ever after. We grow up with the idea that a successful man is one who builds a family, has children, and shares his life with someone. This has become a social measure of accomplishment, as if living alone equates to failure or loneliness. When a man chooses to live outside of this norm and is still satisfied with himself, he challenges this narrative. And that generates discomfort. It's as if he's silently proclaiming, "I am enough." And this silent declaration is frightening because it questions the choices of those who remain in empty relationships just to maintain a social facade. A happy, fulfilled single man becomes almost a walking protest against unspoken rules. The more he demonstrates that it's possible to be complete without following the traditional script, the more he shakes the foundations built upon fear, dependence, and convenience. If you're tired of watching her play games, ignore you, and do whatever she wants with your feelings, it's time to show who's in charge of the game. It's time to make her chase you and recognize your true value. In the first pinned comment, I've left a step-by-step guide on how to make her pursue you. Plus, you'll level up and become the best version of yourself. Click now. Second reason, he breaks the narrative of the happy ending that many have been taught to follow. Behind many relationships lies a story that people lack the courage to abandon, that happiness only comes when you are with someone. When a man lives well alone, he shatters this illusion. He shows that the happy ending might be a convenient lie, told by generations who never learned to be happy on their own. And those who believed in this fable feel threatened by someone who decided to write a different story. It's not that he criticizes love or relationships. He simply doesn't sell out to the first script handed to him. And this is unsettling, because it's easier to laugh at, criticize, or judge someone who refuses to follow the traditional path than to admit that perhaps you are trapped in something that never truly made you happy. Third reason, not paying alimony or sharing assets breeds envy in other men. There are men who live bitterly with the consequences of poor choices, failed marriages, costly separations, suffocating alimonies. When these same men see someone who is single, free from legal and financial ties, the comparison is inevitable. Envy surfaces disguised as criticism. That guy is going to die alone. This isn't a real life. He only thinks of himself. But deep down, it's just frustration for not having had the courage to choose a different path. the single man becomes a reminder of what many have given up. While he invests in himself, accumulates wealth, travels without guilt, and sleeps soundly, others are bogged down by bills, legal battles, and a dragging past. It's not about wanting what he has, but about resenting what they lost by not making the same choices. Fourth reason, he unsettles those who are unhappy in a relationship. Many people live in relationships based on routine, dependence, or fear of loneliness. When a man appears and shows that it's possible to be at peace alone, he triggers a silent alarm in those trapped in an unhappy relationship. Not because he says something directly, but because his demeanor exposes the emptiness that many try to disguise with Instagram photos and dinner appearances. This discomfort is so strong that it drives some to belittle the freedom of others just to keep their own house of cards standing. It's easier to say he is selfish, childish, or lost than to admit, "I'm with someone, but I'm not happy." And the single man becomes the villain of the story, simply for living a truth that many lack the courage to face. Fifth reason, his freedom exposes the emotional imprisonment of many couples. The simple fact that a man can make decisions without asking for permission, leave whenever he wants, move to a new city, or invest solely in himself is enough to create discomfort. Not because he is wrong, but because he reveals what many have given up: autonomy. And when someone lives in a relationship where everything needs to be negotiated, even the most basic desires, seeing that kind of freedom can be painful. Couples who endure a stifling routine devoid of passion or purpose feel confronted by this kind of man. He shows that life doesn't have to be an endless negotiation. This challenges the sacrifices made out of convenience or fear. It's not him who is trapped. It's others who can no longer move freely. Sixth reason, committed women may feel attracted to him, creating tension. A free, confident man who doesn't need to impress anyone awakens something many try to hide: desire. This is especially true for women who feel emotionally neglected. This doesn't mean he's doing anything wrong. His mere existence provokes. He represents the exact opposite of what they have at home: presence, attitude, autonomy. This tension disrupts the relationships around him. Insecure men see him as a threat, even without him uttering a word. It's the kind of energy that speaks for itself. Consequently, they attempt to belittle him, attack him, or isolate him. Not because he's a real danger, but because his presence exposes the absence many couples pretend not to see. Seventh reason, his independence threatens the egos of submissive men. When a man doesn't need to conform, seek approval, or please others to be accepted, he directly challenges those who have become prisoners in their relationships. Men who no longer have a voice at home, who walk on eggshells, see in him everything they have lost: the power to decide, the freedom to be themselves, their very identity. Instead of feeling inspired or seeking reconnection with themselves, many choose to attack him. A wounded ego breeds anger. After all, how does he get what he wants without humbling himself? How is he respected without begging for attention? This silent comparison eats away at them, because it exposes a submission they pretend not to see, yet it's there every day, suffocating their choices. Eighth reason, his life doesn't revolve around pleasing anyone. This hurts egos. We live in a culture where being too nice has become synonymous with being accepted. Many men have learned that they must sacrifice themselves to maintain a relationship. When someone enters the scene who refuses to play that game, who prioritizes their own well-being over any validation, they become a target, because being authentic today is almost an act of rebellion. And the most shocking part is that he doesn't need to raise flags or make speeches. He simply exists as he is, without apologizing for it. The fact that he isn't desperate for love wounds those who live on approval. It demonstrates that it's possible to be respected without disappearing, and for many, this is unbearable. Ninth reason, he doesn't share his assets. This can be seen as selfishness. When a man chooses to build his life alone, everything he earns is solely his: house, car, investments, time. This bothers others because in the traditional view, everything should be shared. Responsibilities, bills, decisions, and even what has been earned through individual effort. Those in relationships where everything needs to be negotiated look at this man as someone who is throwing away the ideal of sharing. Yet what many call selfishness is, in fact, a healthy boundary. He knows what he wants, protects what he has built, and is unwilling to give it up just to please. This stance is seen as a threat by a society that still expects men to be automatic providers. He breaks this mold, and that is unforgivable to those still trapped in outdated models. 10th reason, he's a threat to the family consumption system. The structure of society revolves around the traditional family: marriage, children, financing, mass consumption. When a man chooses to remain single, he punctures this bubble. He doesn't spend on wedding festivities, doesn't buy a family car, doesn't finance toys, and doesn't live trapped in the endless cycle of household debt. He consumes differently, he lives differently, he thinks differently, and the system hates that. Companies lose a predictable consumer. Marketing doesn't know how to reach him. He represents a piece that doesn't fit, and for that reason, he needs to be ridiculed or pressured to settle down. His rebellion is not in words, but in silent choices that challenge the economic logic where everything revolves around forming a family and keeping the wheel turning. 11th reason, for most, a single man is seen as incomplete. There's a collective belief that a man only finds fulfillment when he meets the right woman. This thought is so deeply ingrained that anyone who deviates from this path is treated as a problem to be solved. The question that always arises is, aren't you going to get married? As if being single is a temporary stage, a flaw to be corrected. But what if it's not a flaw? What if it's a choice? That's unsettling because it forces people to reevaluate their certainties. A man who is self-sufficient, who lives well, takes care of himself, and grows alone challenges the myth that happiness only comes in pairs. And this is where many feel threatened, because perhaps they are accompanied, but deeply incomplete. 12th reason, his financial freedom is misinterpreted as irresponsibility. He travels when he wants, trades his car when he deems it necessary, and invests in himself without asking for permission. To someone living bound to a strict household budget or needing to justify every expense to a partner, this seems like irresponsibility. He doesn't think about the future, they say, but what they fail to see is that he is already living the future that many dream of. Free, autonomous, and at peace with his choices. Society romanticizes scarcity when it comes in the form of sacrifice within a couple. The single man, on the other hand, is the figure that breaks this mold. He shows that it's possible to have money, freedom, and emotional balance without needing to share everything with someone. This model discomforts those who still believe that success equates to collective sacrifice. 13th reason, he can disappear, travel, or move cities without asking for permission. This autonomy is frightening for those trapped in a predictable routine. The single man can pack his bags and leave tomorrow. He can spend weeks offline, move to another country, quit his job, and start anew. This creates discomfort because for most, everything must be negotiated with a spouse, children, in-laws, or bosses. This freedom is priceless, and those who lack it feel the impact just by witnessing it. Many would like to live this way but lack the courage. So they judge. They say he is inconsistent, detached, or reckless. But in truth, what exists is admiration cloaked in criticism, because few have the audacity to live with the world at their feet and simply go. 14th reason, he shows that happiness does not depend on marriage. The real threat is not his singlehood. It's the happiness that comes with it. Because if a man can live well, smile, grow, and achieve without being in a relationship, what does that say about those who rely on marriage to feel complete? He demonstrates that it is possible to live fully, even without sharing life with anyone. This shatters a paradigm. It destroys one of the pillars that sustain convenience-based relationships. He is not bitter, lonely, or lost. He is self-aware. He is whole. And that stings for those who still believe that the only way to succeed in life is alongside someone, even if that person doesn't add to their life, only takes away. 15th reason, everyone tries to correct his life as if he were wrong. Family, friends, colleagues, everyone becomes an expert in his life. They offer unsolicited advice, suggest that he will change eventually, and imply that he is this way due to trauma or fear of commitment, as if being happy alone were a character flaw. Society doesn't know how to handle someone who doesn't need to fit in to feel complete. And the more he stands firm, the more people try to bend him. Because if he's right, then a lot of people are living a lie. He becomes the target of good intentions, which at their core are attempts at control. They want him to fit in because his freedom disrupts everything others believe about love, success, and purpose. If this video made a difference for you, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Every video we create here is crafted with care, always aiming to help you develop and achieve your best version. We want to share practical and straightforward tips that truly impact your life positively. So don't waste any time. Comment below with the word gratitude and the phrase, "in search of my best version." This way, the algorithm will promote this video to more men who are seeking growth. Your engagement in the comments is essential for our content to reach those who need this advice most. Additionally, your support through likes and subscriptions strengthens our work and motivates us to continue creating valuable content for your journey. The more you interact, the more men will have access to this type of information, which only aids our mission to transform lives. Thank you for being with us on this journey. Stay tuned for upcoming videos, as we're always bringing new insights to help you evolve. Big hug, and see you in the next video.